what's this week's video about, Noelle?
This week, we're going to cover some tricks and hacks that we've learned along the way over the past year.
Absolutely. We've been living on the boat for a whole year now. And actually, if you want, we just made a video about what it costs to live aboard for a whole year. So just click here. It'll take you to that video. We've kind of come up with a few things to make life easier here on board.
Yeah, we did. I love going online and checking out life hacks. A lot of them are geared towards living in a home and so on. Geared to live aboard, you have to go through all the hacks in order to find the ones that would best fit live aboard lifestyle.
For some of these, we did some research. For some, it just was obvious to us what to do. They were really helpful for us.
Yeah, they were.
Hopefully you guys will find them helpful too. So enjoy this video. So as you can see, it's winter again. We've got the enclosure back on, same as last year. If you want to see how I did this, I shot a whole video about how to put up a winter enclosure. Just click this link and it'll take you to that video. I did a few improvements this year that I didn't do last year. One of them is that I extended the bottom of the enclosure a little farther this time, and I heat shrinked this bottom section to tighten it up better around the bottom, because I noticed last year it was kind of lifting up a bit. Another thing I did was I tightened up the collar around the mast because I had a lot of water coming in through the mast last year, so that was something I wanted to change. Another thing you can really notice is that there's a lot less tape this year. Last year we had tape all over the place. I thought I really needed it to reinforce the thing, but this year we were able to just get away with enough tape to basically connect all the pieces. So this is basically just drop sheet plastic that you get at the hardware store, and we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strips of it taped together. So the tape is just holding the plastic together essentially, and that's it. But it's a much better enclosure this year.
In the kitchen, I whipped together my own little net to hold our fruit. We purchased some baskets that fit perfectly in these little nooks and crannies here. This is our shower curtain hook that I'm using to hold our 2 teapots at the moment.
So I went on Amazon and was looking for some closed cell foam to use for insulation, and I picked up these ones that are designed for cars for like sound dampening or whatever. But I mean, on one side there's an adhesive layer, and on the other side there's foil layer, and it makes like a really good insulation for the back of the cupboard here. So we've put this in here to control the moisture. It's working really good so far.
Some of my best work happens in the galley.
It's true.
It is.
It's true. You're a chef.
I love it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy being in there. Yeah. And our galley was not bright enough. I needed more light.
The boat came with the original fluorescent bulbs that were really popular with campers and boats like back in the 1980s. And I kind of made it my mission to do something about that.
When I was in Lebanon, I went into a dollar store and found some LED strips.
So you can cut them with scissors. There's a lot of lights on them. They're really bright, super cheap. To save some money, I just took the old fixtures that we had and gutted them out and installed these new LED strips right in there. So now we've got LED lights throughout the boat.
The galley is much brighter. I'm really happy with them.
Very low power consumption. It's going to be really good when we're underway and on 12 volt.
Dan also found these clear tubes.
This was your idea.
Yeah, it was my idea.
Yeah. We actually found these tubes at the hardware store. They're actually flexible water pipes.
Okay.
So our boat has those original boat countertops from when it was first built, and they're basically antiques at this point. So we picked up this mat that I thought would work at IKEA.
They're silicone mats. They have this like grip to them. Nothing slips or slides on that surface. They're great for cleanup. Crumbs everywhere, spilt some juice, meh.
They're easy to install. You can just cut them with scissors.
Last summer we did a cruise down the south shore of Nova Scotia to Lunenburg. We ran out of water midway.
Out of water. Like we had 1 jug left and that's all we had to drink. Probably lasted like a day.
To conserve some fresh water, I decided that I would go outside with a bucket and fill it up with seawater to do our dishes.
So yeah, to avoid that problem again, we decided that we should have a raw water intake into the sink in the galley. So I took this job on not too long ago. I had a couple Y valves kicking around in the boat, so it didn't take much, just a quick trip to the hardware store and a few pieces of hose and a few pipe clamps and a couple attachments, and I was able to rig up this Y valve so that using the foot pump in our kitchen, we can choose between raw water or fresh water, and we've got a nice big brass ball valve here to keep it from backing up into our good freshwater system so that we can just, have seawater whenever we need it.
So I no longer have to go outside with our bucket, fill it up with seawater, and bring it back on board. I can just pumped. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah.
Can't wait to try it out.
Yeah, it works pretty good.
Okay, the aft head. Some hacks we've come up with for the aft head would be this white container here. I believe it's designed for office supplies, but it's working wonderfully for our toothbrushes and toothpaste. Dan had found this cereal container, I believe it is. We are using it for a rubbish bin. It wasn't quite sitting up high enough, so Dan had decided to cut a water bottle just to give it that little extra lift. Up here, I decided to store some toilet paper. I had these clear mesh bags laying around and 2 rolls fit in there perfectly. Just used the string here and hung them up. I'm happy with them hanging up here rather than under the sink where they might hit some moisture. This is our seating area. Dan and I would hang out here wishing that we could cuddle. I really wanted an extension to this couch, and the previous owners, I think, had one because there's a little slit, and we got a piece of wood that would just fit right into the slit here. Okay, the aft cabin. Some tricks we've come up with this year are these white bins. They've been great for organizing our things, keeping everything off any surfaces where condensation may form. But this year, no, it's been nice and dry. I've been using this wooden laptop rest as a nightstand for myself. I'm glad that I have it. It's just nice having that extra little surface there to rest things before I go to bed. It took us a very long time to come up with what we could use to put under our clothes so that we wouldn't get that moisture buildup.
Yeah, that's right. We were noticing in a stack of clothes that you'd put in the cupboard, like the bottom layer would get wet. Like we were looking for some kind of barrier under there that was perforated and would let some air into that pocket. And we kind of lucked out. We found this mat, but this one was really great. I mean, you can cut it with scissors, you can shape it. It lifts everything up about 1/2 centimeter and there's lots of air underneath. So it's been really good. And what was even better is that we were able to use a big piece of it in the door so that we, you know, when you're coming in with snow and stuff on your boots, you're not getting rocks on the deck. One thing that we've always been wondering is like, what's the actual temperature under this greenhouse enclosure that we've built? If you want to go up and chill out in the enclosure, like what's the temperature up there?
We opted out for the cheaper version of this thermostat that will tell us what the temperature is inside the boat, but also it just has a separate piece that Dan can attach up on deck.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's this wireless box that you can install like anywhere, and the receiver will just give you the temperature in that area, wherever it is. So we put it up in the cockpit. That's giving us an accurate temperature for the enclosure. So one of the biggest things that we've done recently for the boat that's been really great is we installed this Raspberry Pi navigation onboard computer that's been fantastic. So a Raspberry Pi can be used with your existing navigation systems to crunch all the data that they output, and then it can send it to all your devices on board over Wi-Fi. So like your phone, tablet, or your PC, you can run a chart plotter or whatever you want. It's super innovative. And if you want to check it out, I recently just did an entire video on how to install one of these things. So here's the link. Go check it out. It's really great, and it's probably one of the biggest things we've done here on the boat.
The internet connection here sucks.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of boaters can relate to like bad, weak internet connections.
So Dan, after doing a lot of research, went online and purchased an internet extension thing.
See, your laptop has an antenna inside, but it's like this tiny little thing, and most people don't realize that. This thing is actually an external antenna that boosts how much of the Wi-Fi you can actually receive and send. It's been really helpful for us. I think this one was about $40 on Amazon.
I think every cruiser should have one.
So on the boat we have this outdated single sideband radio that doesn't have any line out. I knew that if I could access the audio signal from it, I might be able to get a weather fax working on our laptop. I decided to try to splice the speaker wire, and it worked, and just kind of hacked the radio. I installed this line out here outside of the radio here on our panel, and there's a switch here so I can go between speaker and line out. So I picked up this cable that guitar players have been using lately. One side has a 1/4" jack and the other side has a USB, and you literally just plug this into your computer, and any audio signal coming down that cable will just go into your computer as a line in or a microphone. So it's been working for us, and I've been able to access the audio coming out of the HF radio. So now when I tune into one of the WeatherFax stations, I should be able to read that data and get a WeatherFax report right here on the computer, which would be really helpful, especially if we're offshore and we're, you know, out of cell phone range and so on. Thanks for watching. If you like our videos, please don't forget to subscribe, and if you want, leave a like or a comment because we read them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you later. Bye.
This week's video, we're going to cover things such as
Yeah.